ladies and gentlemen. It's time for another and almost daily walking vlog. Walking with Beau. Well, it was another beautiful day in Maine. It was about 74, 75 degrees, plenty of sunshine. Canadian cool, dry air. It's gonna go down to about 49 tonight. Another dry, relaxing evening. So, somebody's upset over there, not at me. So anyway, beautiful weather. It's a Friday night. Go for a walk. Sun is starting to go down. Might be, well, I don't know if it'll be completely dark by the time this walk is done. But I did notice on that night I was out walking when it was raining that I said it records lighter than it really is. Well, that wasn't completely accurate. It records lighter than it really is when it's on the nighttime setting. On the regular, which it is now, that's not the case. Now, tonight's route, I'm going to take on kind of like a regular city route, sort of. So we're going to have traffic noise. Have to mail my ballot. And you're probably wondering, what the hell kind of ballot could that be? You just mailed one. Well, I got another ballot. This one just has to do with the school budget. And there's only two questions on it. One is an opinion vote, asking what my opinion is of the school budget, which is not good. Because they're spending way too much money. And the last budget that they tried to pass for the school budget was voted down by voters for spending too much money because everybody's afraid of their property taxes going up. So that is definitely showing up in the polling. I think the school budget for Lewiston is $115,000, I think. No, 1.15 million, not 115,000. And that's more than what it used to be. And they haven't increased taxes, so 2 plus 2 tells you that if they end up doing that, it'll give them an excuse to raise taxes, and I think people know that. They don't want their stuff going up right now. They don't want rain runoff taxes added. We don't want higher water bills from the city. I've explained to you rain runoff tax. That's what they calculate the square footage of your property. And then they calculate according to how much rainfall fell and how much water they processed through the waste treatment plant. And it comes with your water and sewage bill. And yes, it is ridiculous. Something they started doing in the early 2000s. 2008, I believe. Could be wrong on that. So anyway, I am going to drop my ballot in the box saying that their budget is too high, which it is. And I'm sure I won't be the only one. Then we will finish up our walk somewhere between 5 and 6 miles tonight. I got a few things to talk about tonight. Thanks. We all know what happened in New York City yesterday, unless you've been under a rock. At first I was pretty angry and upset about it because I thought it was going to be like a hung jury. Of course, we're talking about the Trump trial in New York. And I know the left is going to do exactly what I was hoping they would do. Now they're going to be able to call Donald Trump a convicted felon in almost every sentence they utter in the media, the White House, everywhere. And that's supposed to affect voters. Now in the 1990s, I would have to say yes, it probably would have. But now, especially after COVID, the pandemic, and all the stuff we've seen with the politics, and I don't really think it's a big deal to voters. I don't think very much is going to change. If anything, it'll help Trump quite a bit, actually. He'll probably go up in the polls. Now, I have seen a few people in person and also online that don't seem to know that if you are a convicted felon, you can still run for president. That's something people don't know about yet, but they're going to. The media does put that out there. I saw maybe 5 or 6 different articles today talking about that, explaining to people what it means. So people will know. And what they'll do in those articles, I haven't read any of them, but I'm sure they'll have their propaganda in there and say, despite him being able to run, nobody's really going to want this or that. So they always try to shape that opinion in there. Which is why I don't read that garbage anymore. They always do that thing where they put the propaganda in the first paragraph. They put the actual news in the last paragraph. In the middle is just fluff. So all right, drop that in the, I dropped it in the ballot box aka the blue U.S. Mail United States Postal Service box. So there we have all of that. It's going to be a pretty unusual election year, to say the least. I'm not going to go too much into the whole court case and all the evidence and stuff. We all saw what happened. The judge didn't allow certain witnesses. He framed the instructions to the jury in a way that it would be very difficult for them not to come up with a guilty verdict. They had 3 different crimes to choose from. And it was in an area of New York and Manhattan where 85% of the voters there voted for Democrats. And they're not Trump supporters. And it turns out the guy I thought was on Truth Social, that was actually fake news, reported by one of the media outlets. But what it was this person had an account on Twitter, or X, and they said on their jury form that they occasionally popped in on Truth Social to catch up on news going on with Trump. And I will agree that you're not going to find anybody that doesn't know about Trump or stuff that's said about him to be completely impartial. But they should have moved the location of the trial someplace else. And they didn't do that. They did a bunch of improper things that the media says they didn't do. And that will be overturned on an appeal. Absolutely. Everybody seems to be in 100% agreement of that. So I'm not going to delve into the whole trial itself. I'm just disappointed that it was a unanimous, such a unanimous guilty verdict. So anyway, first things I'll cover is, no, President Trump's not going to jail, okay? That's not going to happen. At worst, if Merchan or Merchan, whatever the hell his friggin' name is, decides that he is going to do something radical, I think the most he's going to get away with is an ankle bracelet under house arrest. Which, if you remember, that's what I said 3 months ago, because of the Presidential Protection Act. Of course, the liberals are going to be upset with that. Now, is he going to ban, if he does do that, is he going to ban Trump from broadcasting electronically from Mar-a-Lago? Because he still has the gag order in place. So, while he can't discuss the people in the court, he can campaign. Now, here's the problem the Democrats are going to have. They're running around gloating today, sitting there writhing in ecstasy with Trump's blood all over their lips. They're enjoying themselves today without realizing that they didn't win anything. He's still going to run. More than likely, he's going to win now more than before the verdict. He raised $34.8 million in 10 hours after the verdict. He got $300,000 donated from a very rich liberal in California who is a Democrat. He said, this lawfare stuff has to change. What they did was wrong. What they did to him was too much. He didn't deserve that. And basically was saying that he saw what they were doing to him. And he didn't like the Democrats destroying our court system over one man. Now, those are not direct quotes, but in a roundabout way, that's what he was saying. So, there you have that. It's going to be interesting, obviously. Trump's not going to have any money shortage, that's for sure. And you know, the other thing is, what I said about the Presidential Protection Act is, that's true, that's a fact. That's for life for anybody that's been president. That was signed into law by Obama. And that's all there is to that. End of story. Secret Service has final call on protection, location. It's a matter of national security. So while they run around saying Trump did this or that with documents, and he's got the information that's in those documents plus more in his head that he saw as president. So now, of course, Biden had to open his mouth today when he was done speaking about something else. Don't know if you caught that yet. Talking about nobody's above the law, the rule of law, 12 jurors, blah, blah, blah. Ordinary citizens found him guilty. And he has the right to appeal like everyone else, Biden said. Well, no kidding. Thank you, Captain Obvious. It was a rigged trial. They wanted to make sure they got a guilty verdict, and they did. All they wanted was to be able to call Donald Trump a convicted felon. They think that's going to be the end of him, which is very comical. My question is, what are they going to do when this doesn't work? Are they going to kill him next? I mean, what else is left? They're going to rig his airplane for the engines to quit in flight and the plane crashes? Are they going to shoot the plane down and say it was an accident? Because it'll be investigated by a government agency. They're not going to give you the truth. So he should be very concerned. Very concerned. Because this isn't going to work. It's not. We know it's not going to work, and so that's just you know, the way it is. Biden's not going to get any less 81 years old. He's not all of a sudden going to be able to speak well, and he's not all of a sudden going to be able to instill confidence through Bidenomics, with everybody having all kinds of money in their pocket between now and the election. So nothing's changed. You know, this would be different if Biden was doing great, had a great presidency, the economy was booming, everything was wonderful. But, you know, they're gaslighting the public every time you see Biden. Oh, the economy is great. Because he doesn't know. He's just repeating what they told him. Literally. I wish I was exaggerating. Watched that interview of him on CBS with, what's her name? I don't know her name. Well, CNN, I mean. And, you know, he's sitting there being told all this stuff, looking at her as confused as anybody else, because he honestly believed that that was not the case. He says things like he inherited an inflation rate of 9% and it's doing better. No, he inherited a inflation rate of 1.7. So that's just the truth. So anyway, what I was saying is I was pretty upset about it at first. Then I thought about it and I started snooping around, and you had people like Megyn Kelly, oh, we don't know how this is going to affect Trump. Bill O'Reilly, yeah, you might see him dip temporarily but then surge ahead. I think basically nothing's going to change. That's what I think. Thanks. And I think, now I do know after his conviction, there was a poll done overnight, and he went up about 6 points. And the poll that just came out this week was people were expecting a guilty verdict, and they were also asked if he was found guilty, would you still vote for him? And 68% said that it's not going to change their mind on their vote. And I'm assuming the other 32% were other people that maybe don't know, maybe this, maybe that. So there's going to be a certain percentage there. You're going to have to figure in. Some of them literally don't understand that if you're a convicted felon, because they know when you're a convicted felon you can't vote, so they assume that you can't run for office either, and that's literally not the case. But the media will square all that away, and so this is what we got. I'm upset with the Democrats because this is the first time in 248 years that politicians were finally crazy enough to do this. So this is brand new. We've never experienced this before. I have a feeling tomorrow, yesterday is going to be one of those days where 10 years, 20 years from now, you'll say, I remember where I was when that happened. I think it's a big landmark thing for this country, which will be put into focus when Donald Trump wins, and he is going to win. They've pretty much guaranteed that now. They've made a folk hero out of him, a martyr, and so hang on for the ride, folks. Hang on for the ride. All right, so my recommendation would be, I did put the Trump flag out last night. It's been out all day. Other people have as well. In the neighborhood, I've noticed. A couple of red ones, a couple of blue ones. I would honestly recommend that if you can, donate something at donaldjtrump.com. Maybe buy a hat, buy a shirt, because this is historic. I have an official MAGA hat that I bought it a couple years ago, maybe 4 years ago. I bought it in 2020 during the pandemic because it was historic, and I wanted something to remember it by. And it's an official USA, made in USA hat, and you can always tell because the bottom of the visor is green, and it has a big tag underneath stitched into it on the side that says made in the USA. So they have those available, the newer ones, and also you can just donate money. Now, according to campaign rules, and everybody always asks this, I don't want to donate to somebody because a certain percentage is going to go to the Republican Party and I don't want them to have any of the money. I want to donate to Donald Trump, not Republicans. Well, we have election finance rules. There's no way around that. He cannot go fundraise separately from his party once he's a candidate. So you have a minimum amount you can donate. I think it's between 1,000 and 3,000. That's the maximum. And you can also do a bigger donation if you are an entity or you have a big enough checkbook. I'm not sure what you have to do that. But so there's ways to do that. Hello. Hi. So we got a big stretch limo going down the road. So anyway, that's what I would recommend. And you're going to hear all those people online. You're paying for his lawyers. You're paying for his plane to be painted. You're paying for plane fuel. So what? We're donating to the candidate so he can campaign, because that's who we want. That's the point of donating. It also goes to TV commercials, radio spots, internet advertising, mail-outs, pamphlets. You need to have a staff. A lot of times they use volunteers, but they get people they pay, advisors. Don't worry about it. Worry about Joe Biden, okay? Because he's terrible. He's going to have all the money in the world from the Democrats. Never a shortage of money. They outspend Republicans literally 4 or 5 to 1 in every election. So that's what we're going to have. I do have the camera mounted on my chest today and the collar of my shirt. So I'm not going to spend the whole walk talking about Trump and what happened. There's plenty, actually I need a break from it. But I did see something cool about the Planet of the Apes. Now, I'm a Planet of the Apes fan. And remember the spaceship in the first movie where the hatch blows off it and all that? Of course everybody does. Well, everybody's like forgotten about what the hell happened to that ship. Where is it? What happened to the big prop? Because they only had one. Big giant. Well, they had a 4-foot one, which is the one they sank in the water. And then they had the big full-size piece that they kept reusing for the other movies. So people were wondering what the hell happened to it. Well, I think it was Warner Brothers had it on their movie lot, on their movie props lot for years, just sitting there. I guess one of the hatch doors on it rusted shut. It had dents in it, it was starting to show some weathering and stuff like that. But it's Southern California, so it didn't really experience a lot of, they do get rain, sometimes a lot at one time. So what happened is the movie lot that they had that on ended up being acquired by the state of California. And the state of California decided to make a public kind of like park out of it. Kind of a nature walk trail preserve kind of thing, which is still there. So some of the TV series for Planet of the Apes were shot on there. And so now it's public land now. So they got rid of the spaceship. They didn't try to auction it for charity or do anything like that. No, they sent it to the scrap dump. Now at the scrap dump, I guess the scrap place advertised that they had that. And a restaurant, get this now, a restaurant, which was a truck stop on a highway, purchased it from California. It shipped to Utah, where they propped it upright, and they made a sign for the hotel out of it. It was a hotel truck stop kind of place. So I thought that was really amusing. And I guess it stood there for a long time. There's actual photographs of it, so you can actually compare. It is the legitimate one. It's been verified. And then I think sometime, not sure what year, I know this was done in the mid to late 70s. Most of the Planet of the Apes stuff had been finished by then, including the TV series. And the spaceship only appeared in the first episode anyway of the TV series. So that was the last time it showed up on screen, from what I was reading. Anywho, Utah had a big storm. This giant windstorm blew the sign over, and then it got sent to a scrapyard, and it's gone. So sadly, the original spaceship is gone. It got turned into scrap. Now, I did find some interesting things about it I didn't know, the spaceship. That in the first movie, the landing gear that was on the bottom of it was actually the landing gear that was on the spaceship in Lost in Space, the TV series. So they recycled the legs from that spaceship to put on the Planet of the Apes ship, which I didn't know. So that was like new information for me. And the Lost in Space TV episodes were before my time, but I did watch a lot of them on reruns on cable. I did think it was a cool show with the robot. Warning, warning, danger, danger, Will Robinson. So it was interesting, as we got a really bright sun here. So all of that stuff though it's all gone. It's too bad. It should have been put in a museum. You know, but who would have thought in 2024 anybody would still care about a little movie made in 1968 that had some success. Seems like it made more money after. So anyway, that's my little story on the spaceship and Planet of the Apes. I like interesting things like that. And that stuff I was just talking about is researchable. You can find that information. And how many of these cars are from out of state here today? I say that because she declared another emergency, which just got approved by Biden. Well, hi. So I don't know what's going on here tonight, but there's cars here. Oh, I see. Something going on at the middle school. It is the end of May. Might be graduation Friday night. That would not surprise me. Lewiston High School graduation, they have that at down the road a piece at the Civic Center, or Le Colisée now as it's called. This just might be the middle school. Let's see if I see anybody in graduation gear or regalia as it's called. That's what I wore at my graduation, a cap and gown, my regalia, and my honor society ropes. I had full honors. The more yellow ropes that you had, supposedly the smarter you were, and I had a gaggle of them. Other people did too. Some people did not. But so let's see if I can figure out what's going on over here. I see people dressed normally. School board meeting, maybe? A lot of cars here. That's all I'm saying. This time of night. Lewiston Middle School. I don't know what's going on over there. Oh, I see little kids. One little girl's got a tutu. Maybe they had a school play over here, because they do have a half decent auditorium over here, and the smaller schools probably don't. So these look like younger kids that should be going to school here. Shouldn't be, I should say. So interesting. All right, well, I like coming by here sometimes just because I used to go to school here. I enjoyed my first year here, well, at least half of it. And then school and me just did not mix. Did not like it at that age. I always felt like people cared about stupid things, and you had bullies and you had all kinds of crap to, and you know, they got that on a scale 100 times worse today. I really feel badly for young people today in school with all the technology. Now all you got to do is, you know, let's say you just do something, you know, like you sneeze and you wipe your nose, and somebody snaps a picture just as you're wiping, and they post it online saying, look, I caught picking their nose and they were eating them too. Ooh. And then that person gets bullied for that for the rest of the year, just because they didn't acknowledge somebody that required being acknowledged. So, you know, a vindictive, vengeful thing like that. So those things must be really terrible now. Now, especially, you know, what kind of policies do they have? You know, you get the Mean Girls Club, and you have the girls taking a shower after a gym class or sporting thing. And, you know, they snap a picture of the fat girl or the ugly girl or the geeky girl or somebody that they don't think is cool, naked in the shower, and then they share it on the internet. Ha ha ha, right? Well, that person wants to die, all right? And unfortunately, that stuff happens. And I honestly don't believe schools do enough to take care of that. Kids that do that to other kids should be expelled. They should set a precedent on that. You do something like that, you're out. It'll be up to your parents to educate you, or a private school, which costs money. Because private schools will do that. You break their rules, they'll kick you out. That's why private schools are better, in my opinion. So, anyway, we've been through here before where there were college students all over the place. Not the issue right now. I had told you in about a month they would all be gone, and that's what we got. All gone. So it is a good walking route. It's lit pretty well at night, and also it's easy to get a good route. Plus you get nice sidewalks. Now when I go for my woods hikes, I don't want a route like this. So I sincerely, honestly hope that you're having a good week, everybody, anybody that's watching. And I do understand that these videos do not get a lot of views. I don't have a large following of people watching these videos. People like the gun content. Trying to come up with ideas for some new gun content, but you know, everybody on YouTube has done everything. And they have different videos for different skill levels, different kinds of people. And I'm still trying to find my niche in that. And what I mean by that is, you know, you watch a video by somebody like Garand Thumb, You know, great, he's okay, he's all right, but a lot of his videos are more advanced for a specific type of weaponry. They're all very expensive, top end stuff the average person doesn't own or buy. And I don't want to sit there watching and drooling over stuff they have on there. And I actually saw him review a $400 Palmetto State Armory AR. Is it really good? Is $400 a good buy for this? And he's like, well, it started wearing out between 4,000 and 5,000 rounds. The ejector gave out and after so-and-so amount, and then he goes, but that's to be expected because, guys, that's a part that wears out and you have to replace it anyway. Doesn't matter what firearm you buy or how much you paid for it. That's just the nature of it. So that's what happened with that. And cut across over here. So with that, we had stuff like that going on with these videos. I just don't like watching those. And some of the best compliments I've gotten on my channel is you have the everyday man's firearms on there. That's why I like it. You have firearms that I can go buy and I can afford. And you know, that means a lot. It's really important, you know. Like, I had mentioned it before, I want to make a few videos, not too many, having to do with my guitars. I don't have many, not like I used to. I'm not going to get into all of that because you wouldn't believe it even if I told you. You literally would not believe it. You'd say, come on, this guy is like so full of crap. So I'm not even going to bother. But it was substantial. And it was worth a lot. And during the pandemic, I started selling a lot of stuff off, which was good. Which actually worked out because Biden's new tax thing for selling things on the internet, making $600. If you make any profit on something, you get taxed for it. And now the websites online keep track of that. Well, I sold most of that stuff before that went into play, so thankfully, because there would have been some taxes to pay on it with the new rules that didn't apply then. So anyway, this is the Bates College campus. We've been here many times through here. And you're pretty much just going to get a straight ahead view because you're on my chest. Unless I physically turn the camera, which I don't feel like doing. And so I do have some firearm content that's going to be coming up. And I do have a few small clips. Nothing really major. I might make a little video talking about the firearm again. But, you know, it's like, I do have a couple that I want to do kind of like follow-ups. This is the firearm that I have. And I actually have one that I don't think I've done a review on yet. Actually, I think I do. It's my Ruger PC9, and this car right here is so quiet because it's electric. I really hate that. So anyway, the PC9 is a really cool 9mm Ruger takedown carbine. You can get it as non-takedown or takedown. Mine's a takedown. So I can put it in a backpack or a carry bag or whatever. Assembles like instantly. You just pop it in there, turn it, locks, and you're ready to go. Uses Ruger or Glock pistol magazines. If you put the Glock magwell in it. So I should do a kind of like commentary and review after owning it all this time and having a couple thousand rounds through it. It's been absolutely awesome. Shooting iron sights or red dot at 1,000 yards, 100 yards, not 1,000, 100 yards. Pling, 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 pling. I mean, it's pretty awesome, right? Any rifle that does that consistently is good. And that's shooting offhand, standing. So, just to reiterate to people that think offhand is shooting with your opposite hand, that's not what it means. Offhand means standing and just shooting, standing. With kind of a free, open stance. Had to wait for that person to go through the red light. So we'll go up this way. So I do have a blue roll of tape I found. Looks like blue electrical. I guess. It behaves like electrical tape. Find all kinds of things while I'm walking. I actually found a pretty cool roll of a full roll of duct tape. It looked like it was brand new. Who doesn't like a free roll of tape? I mean, seriously. Friggin' stuff's like $5-6 now. You might get the cheap stuff for $3 something. We might make it back before it gets dark. So I took some vitamins, feel much better. There was a couple of walks I did not upload. One of them, I talked about it and explained it in another video that I don't think I uploaded. But I think I mentioned it in the last video I uploaded, where I was walking and I just didn't feel good. And it wasn't a cardio issue, it wasn't anything like that. I just felt light, like off. Like neurologically, I couldn't focus on things. I don't mean my vision, I mean, like if I'd go to walk around something, I'd almost feel like I couldn't tell where my balance was. But it also was not being dizzy or anything like that. And it had to do with being malnourished. I've felt like that before, so I was dehydrated as well as malnourished. And people might say, well, how can you be malnourished? You eat food. Well, yes, I do, but I have celiac disease. So just because I eat it doesn't mean my stomach is absorbing what I need. It does not absorb B12. I have to take that manually. And I also run out of iron. I have to take that manually. Now, the other minerals and stuff, I also have to supplement. And I've been doing all this walking, and I haven't been paying attention to my supplements. And it caught up with me. That's all it did. So now I am perfecto, mundo, all kinds of energy, perfect. I know my body. I've dealt with this since 2008. I know exactly what it is. And it's one of those things where if we had a post-apocalyptic disaster and I had to head to the hills, I would have to bring supplements with me, and I would have to find a way to get some. For the rest of my life, I would need to supplement with something. So that's just the way it is. Thanks. Sign says parking in rear. I'm not touching that one. So, it's a lot quieter around here, where all the college kids gone. And, you know, I call them college kids. They're all adults. Sort of. And what I mean by that is if you're 19, you can't buy alcohol. You can in Canada. I think it's pretty much you're just 18. You're good to go on everything, I think. I'm very thankful 18-year-olds cannot drink legally in the United States. I believe it should be 21 years old to vote, to drink, to join the military. But people don't always agree with what I have to say, and that's fine. I don't know everything. I don't profess to know everything. If I thought I knew everything, I would be like the liberals there that have all the nose rings and face jewelry. Seems like the most face jewelry they have in nose rings, the more they know more than everybody else. That's what I've kind of like gathered on the internet anyway. So last night I had a good dinner. I had, and I like to season my own sauce. I made some linguine, and I like using oregano, Italian seasoning, a little salt and pepper, and that's pretty much all I use. And I use ground beef. So it's all good. And again, that's not something I can eat all the time. That's something that really causes my celiac to act up. And it's not pleasant when it does, okay? It's not. People like to make light of it. They treat it like it's glucose and lactose intolerant people and wimpy and, oh, come on, they're gluten sensitive. Let me tell you, it's a real thing. You know why it's a real thing? Because the food that people have to eat is garbage. And I poisoned myself over the years eating junk. Now, some people it doesn't bother, other people it does. I happen to be one of those ones it bothers, so. And I honestly believe if I had grown up eating normal food that hadn't been processed, that I wouldn't have this issue. So I firmly believe that. It's because it's not something that's very common naturally, but more people have it. So, and I've mentioned that before about just a simple thing like, and actually you can go check this out. It's readily available with an easy internet search. Look up Quaker strawberry oatmeal individual packages for the ingredients. Look up the one for the United States, and then look up the one that's sold in the UK for the Brits. The British one will actually have dehydrated real strawberries, real sugar, and real ingredients, because that's the regulations they have. And in the United States, it's all artificial this, artificial color, artificial strawberry flavoring, artificial this, artificial strawberry bits. So if you're bored and you want something to do, so I guess what I'm saying is I don't eat that stuff anymore. But if I was in like the UK and that's the products we had available, that is definitely something that I would eat. But the American versions of it, I'm just not going to eat that stuff. That's garbage. So garbage. So I saw something interesting today. It was something that happened in February. I believe it was February 13th in Houston, Texas. I don't know if they had constitutional carry at the time. I think they did. And this woman and her friend had come home. It was about midnight. And I'll wait till these bikes go by. It was about midnight from what I read in the article. I also watched the body cam footage where she had lost her keys. She couldn't open the door. She was locked out. So she told her friend to break the window. So they broke the window and she got into her own apartment that she was renting. And somebody called the police because somebody was breaking and entering, okay? That's what it looked like. It's not what happened, but that's what it appeared to be. And so I've got a concert going on across the street. It's cool music. I like that music. So anyways, she broke into her own house. They were there for about 20 minutes, and 2 female police officers showed up because they got a call. She's up on the porch, and the porch has the light on, and she's like, police officers, whatever. Just as she starts talking, the woman who lives there heard somebody on the porch and went and got her pistol. So she went up to the door with her handgun because she thought somebody was going to break in. It was late at night. Of course, she thought that because she wasn't breaking into her own house. There's nothing illegal going on. So what happens? The cop sees the gun. It's not pointed at the cop, okay? It's not. She saw the woman through the window on her way to the door. So she hadn't even confronted the person inside the apartment yet. She yells gun, and she starts doing mag dumps into the apartment with her Glock. At least it looked like a Glock. So the woman inside the apartment, who owns the apartment, got shot 5 times. Miraculously, none of them hit any vital organs. But she did have some physical damage from it, as you would expect. She's going to have to recover, and she has a 1-year-old baby. Now, the reason why this was a touchy subject in Houston is that she was black. The 2 officers were 2 white women. Now, I know that's not supposed to matter, but we know it does. So their attorney said that black people have Second Amendment rights too, and maybe rightfully, I honestly think that that's what happened, because Houston police have been targeted by black gangs and black people. They've been getting jumped and shot at. They're trying to assassinate police officers. That's really happening, and the police know that. So as soon as she saw the gun, I mean, it was like instant, like flipping on a light, bam, 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 bam. There was no discussion. There was no put the gun down, put the gun. There was none of that. She just opened fire. Now, we know that's not good policing, all right? Because that could have been you, could have been me, because people will answer the door with their firearm when somebody's banging on their door at midnight. I do. Not that anybody's been banging on the door, but I'm just trying to say that that is an easily explainable scenario in a place where they have constitutional carry. It's not illegal to have a firearm. So the 2 officers have been put on administrative leave. They're still investigating it. That happened in February. There's probably, I think what they're doing is, do we charge the officers or do we just fire them? What do we do? Nobody was killed, but somebody was injured. So they'll probably just end up compensating, rightfully, the victim, and they should pay a lot. Now, I always support the police, okay? I do. But I watched this body cam footage, and they were trigger happy. There was no doubt about it. They got a lot of people because of diversity. I believe they were diversity hires because they were female. Doesn't matter that they were white or black or whatever. I just think they have to have like a quota, like the certain percentage of females, certain percentage of Hispanic, certain Hispanic black, etc., etc. And I think they're hiring people from the bottom of the barrel that shouldn't be police officers. Now, I'm not saying that because they're women or whatever. I'm saying that because police officers now, doing their job, get sued, arrested, or sent to prison for murder. For doing their job, they didn't do anything wrong. They were guilty of shooting a minority. So I think they don't have people applying for those jobs. So that's why they've been hiring illegals in California, law enforcement, if you can believe that. So that's my opinion on that. And every time you say something like that, somebody wants to, oh, you're a racist, you're this. No, it's the truth. That's what's happening. They don't have as many candidates to choose from like they used to. Good quality ones. And the military's having the same problem. Recruitment is very low. They're getting low quality to the point where they've expanded the age that you can join. And I think it's up to 45 years old now instead of 35. Something like that. So it's a problem. And this is all far left politics screwing everything up. And then you have the Soros-funded district attorney in Houston, who's probably going to charge both of these officers with some type of negligent assault or some damn thing, because they're white. And meanwhile, I believe they just had an officer shootout in Houston where the cops were ambushed and this black officer was killed. He was killed trying to save the life of his fellow officer who had been wounded. He went and got the person, was trying to protect them, and they shot him dead. I haven't seen that video yet. I don't really want to. But there's some bad things going on out there, and you have political activist district attorneys exploiting everything for neo-Marxism, which is what it is. So, anywho, that's my point of view on the world. What do I know? I don't know, doodly scoodly. Get my phone back in the pocket. So we're having fun anyways. As you can see, it is a beautiful night. It's going to be nice weather like this every day for the next week. But towards the end of next week, we're going to get some rain. A lot of stuff like this. You got fires outside. So it's always those little dogs. They're the meanest, most vicious things ever. Until they're let off the leash. And then they stop after a couple feet. They shuffle their back legs like they're trying to bury you, like you're a turd or something. And they walk off like they accomplished something. Forks Market, class of 2024. So that might have been a graduation we saw. A sign was thanking 3 young people that graduated. 66 degrees right now. 8:11 p.m. according to that sign. At the Legacy Realty place. dark soon. Just to give you an idea what Maine's like, we got June coming up, day after tomorrow. And still no AC in the windows yet. We don't have central air at the house. It's an older house. Not necessary really. The window units do the job. So definitely need them upstairs before downstairs. Right now, a fan in the window at night is doing just fine. That won't be the case soon. At low humidity right now. I mean, I'm wearing a long sleeve with a double XL t-shirt on top of that tonight, and I'm sweating a little bit. Very comfortable. And this extends all the way down south too, because my brother's in North Carolina and we actually had the same temperatures today, and we're gonna have about the same temperatures overnight. 49 degrees tonight, dry air, and they also have that down in North Carolina. So this is a big cool front. So one of the things we missed yesterday is, this just reminded me of it. You see this right here? That is a rhododendron. Okay? So are those. There's different varieties, but they're all part of the rhododendron. The reason why I bring that up is that was one of the funniest things I saw online this year. These two idiots were fighting with each other. Every day they would fight with each other over these plants, because one said it was an azalea and the other person said it was a rhododendron. Simple Google search would have settled that for both of them. They're both the same thing. So they were arguing that the plants were called this or that, and they were both right because they were both the same damn thing. Down south they call those azaleas, up here they call them rhododendrons. But even down south, they're part of the rhododendron family of azaleas, if that makes any sense. So it's one of those things. It's the reason why I laugh at Facebook often. People on there, they get so angry. You can picture them red-faced with tears in their eyes, sucking their bottom lip in and out like a 5-year-old child angry because he can't have the sucker he wanted to buy and mom wouldn't get it for him. These people get so angry. So that's what I think of when I see that. So now we're going to go on the last leg of the walk. Almost time to wrap things up and say my goodbyes. And thank you very much for walking with me. Hope you enjoyed it. It is starting to get dark. So I'm pretty happy there's no rain in sight for at least another week, or almost a week. All right, that is one thing I definitely like about the clip-on on my neck hole in my shirt, It only works when I'm wearing enough stuff on the top to be strong enough to hold the weight of the camera without it flopping around too much. But it's much easier to change the battery and then just start recording again. Don't know why that stopped. Guess we'll find out. If it does it again, I'll have to turn it off and reboot. Cut across here. I have no idea why it stopped recording on. All right, let's see if we can keep recording this time. I turned it off and rebooted. Almost done my walk anyway. But I should not have done that. I guess it's going to stay on now. So that's done that like once before. Turn it off to change the battery, put a new battery in, restart it, and then it won't stay recording. It turns off. Not the unit, it just stops recording. So what I did was I turned it off and then rebooted it again, and I fixed it the last time, and it seems to be fixing it this time too. But anyway, I just wanted to say thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the walk, and share the video content that's pertinent to what you like. Click like and subscribe. All of that nonsense. I think we've had a good spring so far. I did get caught in the rain the other night. That video is on the playlist. The rainy walk at night. I didn't put the night setting on the last part of that. Probably should have. But we did see a frog out on the sidewalk enjoying the rain. Looked happy anyways. So anyway, keep walking. Need something to eat when I get back. After I get out of the shower, first thing I'll do is actually have a coffee. Kind of craving for one. I do love my coffee. I drink a lot of it, and I'm going to drink it until I have an atrial fibrillation problem and the doctor tells me not to. And even then, I'll just switch to decaf. But until then, I am caffeinating. Very nice evening tonight. Now, tonight would be a great night to have a campfire because it'd be nice and cool. The bug content would be at a minimum. Plus you'd have a fire going, which would help with that. And it would also be warm where you wouldn't feel like you were too hot. So, thanks again for watching. Have a beautiful weekend, I should say. And I really sincerely hope that you have a nice weekend and that things go good for this country this year. God bless America, and God bless you, the patriot who loves it. Bye-bye, everybody. Talk to you soon, friends, on the next walk. Bye-bye.